Wuthering Waves just announced the full release of their game. And here's why Wuthering Waves could fail. One of the greatest weaknesses that Wuthering Waves could have is the hate coming from the Genshin community. I mean, I know there are a lot of wholesome players that just want to play the game and have fun, but we have to be honest, there are also a lot of bad apples in the bunch, and they are usually the most vocal types of players. With these, potential players' mindsets might change about the way they look at Wuthering Waves and just end up not playing it. Who knows, this could be your friend who is persuading you not to play Wuthering Waves because it's just a quote-unquote Genshin clone. Yeah, they are closely related, but so are other more popular games such as Valorant and CS:GO or League of Legends and Dota 2. The main point of these closely related games is to make a twist so that people would feel like something is different that catches their taste, which we can see on Valorant versus CS:GO for where they add skills on the old-school Counter-Strike. This is also very true for Wuthering Waves, and it is very good at doing it. To mention some, it is not hard to climb mountains, it has Pokemon in it, and it has a lot of endgame content. So if you know someone who wants you to not even try a game and form your own opinion, cut them from your life, or at the very least, cut their dick off. Obviously, I'm kidding, but let your own judgment say what you think about a game, at least on Wuthering Waves, because I promise you it will not disappoint. But who am I to judge you or your friends? You can still do whatever you want. I'm just a random guy on the internet trying to tell you, or I guess you could say, persuade you to try this game. How am I different from the people who are persuading you not to try it? My best suggestion is to look at it yourself and watch a video of the gameplay. By then, you should have enough knowledge to decide if this game is for you or not. Another factor that could affect Wuthering Waves very much is just veteran gacha players not wanting to leave their respective gacha games, especially if it is just closely related to the gameplay of their own gacha game, like Genshin Impact, and if it's worth mentioning, Tower of Fantasy. But because of the hype that Wuthering Waves is getting, I'm not really too worried that people will just let this game slide and not at least try it. Another thing that could affect it is the community. We could see that the Wuthering Waves community is at least 50% built on the hate of Genshin Impact. In one of the videos of Bimao, he tackled how toxic the Wuthering Waves chat is on the live stream, and that is making him worried about the future of Wuthering Waves, which we've actually been seeing for a long time, where, I guess, people who have quit playing Genshin Impact because of their bad treatment of the players made a stand and supported Wuthering Waves heavily because it could be the only game that could rival Genshin. Because of this, a war between two communities is burning, and this could again affect the perspective of potential players, depending on what kind of thread or comment they read about the game. Enough about the things connected to the community. Let's get into the character design of the game. There is no way I'm making a video like this without mentioning the character design of the game. Yes, there are designs that are very beautiful, such as Yinlin and Jian, but there are still a few of them. When we compare most of the character design of the characters to an already popular gacha game, we can see that the design is very lacking. The character design is one of the most important things in a gacha game because it is part of what makes a player decide if they will pull for a character. Without it, we could witness low sales or revenue, which could end up bankrupting Wuthering Waves. This is not overreacting, as the main point of revenue in a gacha game is whales pulling for a character that they like. And if they manage to release bad designs after another, which, to be fair, is near impossible as we've seen them release some beautiful designs, this could still lead to players abandoning the game because they are not satisfied with the designs that are being presented to them. The next problem is the most popular problem in the closed beta test 2 of Wuthering Waves, the ecosystem. Yes, the ecosystem is great. In fact, it is probably my most favorite part of the game, but the ecosystem is also known to cause problems. This could be seen reported at the launch of the closed beta test 2 of Wuthering Waves by a large number of players, where the main problem that the players mentioned about the ecosystem, or Pokemon system, if you're more familiar with that term, is that it is too grindy. I personally don't have any problem with it being too grindy, but for our more casual players, of which a large majority are whales, this could be what would lead them not to play the game because they might think that they are being left out for the reason that they couldn't grind because of their responsibilities outside the game. This could also lead to low revenue, which, to be fair, it would not cause the company to completely get rid of Wuthering Waves, but it would still possibly lead them not to be so generous and be stingy like the game that starts with letter G that I don't want to mention, because I know I could start a war. All I can say is 3 pulls for 3 years. If Wuthering Waves become too stingy with the rewards, this may lead to a different kind of problem with a similar outcome. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not mentioning things about the description errors, translation errors, and dialogue problems. It is because these things are easy to fix. This was proven when they announced the release date of the game. What I'm really worried about is that this game could pull a Tower of Fantasy. For anyone who doesn't know, Tower of Fantasy was a really hype, massive multiplayer RPG that is under Hada Studio. This game was beautiful, and it was extremely promising, which is why everyone has their eye on it. But the main problem with Tower Fantasy is that the servers couldn't handle the number of players trying to get into the game, which means it keeps on crashing, or a lot of players are stuck in the lobby queuing, trying to get in the game. Another is that there are cheaters ruining the fun for everyone, and the worst of all, it was extremely buggy. If this happens to Wuthering Waves, there is no doubt that it will end up the same as what happened to Tower of Fantasy. This worries me because the release date is so close to Beta Test 2. I mean, I couldn't blame them because this might be the perfect time to release it, considering there is an upcoming update on Genshin Impact, which could definitely affect the player base of Wuthering Waves on its release. And there are also upcoming games that are similar to them up on the horizon. You might argue that Closed Beta Test 2 already tested the servers, but we still can't say that, considering that there are a lot of people waiting for this game and only a select few who played it in the beta. There is still a chance that the server may crash or become buggy due to the amount of players waiting for it. So, hopefully, they have the servers ready to handle the wave of players coming, especially in the first week. The sheer numbers of potential players may also cause the server to become buggy, or worse, end us waiting in queue for hours. Yes, waiting in queue may be regular for a newly released game, but this shouldn't take us an hour to get into a game because at that time, the hype may have significantly decreased or all gone, which can affect the decision-making of a player as to whether they should stay playing the game or just continue their progress on the gacha game or game that they were already playing. But, overall, I think that the future of Wuthering Waves is very promising. There are just a few things that need tweaking to ensure a healthy and large player base. Though some cannot be fixed as they are simply uncontrollable, there are other things that Kuro Games could control. We could even help out by spreading the word, such as by giving a like and a share to their posts. What about you? Feel free to leave your opinions in the comments or tell me if I had a bad take because I may be losing my edge after a half-month break. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a sub, and I'm sorry for not posting for 2 weeks.